Alright, so as the only real show that I was actually excited for this season, or only, new show that I was really excited for, I'm glad to say I really loved the first episode of Sleepy Hollow. I've been interested in the Sleepy Hollow story ever since the movie with Johnny Depp is actually, for some reason, it's like one of my favorite movies. It's funny, but it's, also really dramatic, and for some reason, I really love that movie. So, because of that, everything that's about, the Headless Horseman, I'm always really excited for. And we haven't really had anything. Honestly, the last thing I remember is a random Halloween special on like WB20 when it was still WB20 or WB whatever if it was never WB20 for you. But I was really excited for this. I watched the episode. I really enjoyed the concept for it. Like I said, I've really only seen like the movie and their, one off, special Halloween thing. So I don't know like the true story or the original story of the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, but I really love the story that they have for this, where the Headless Horseman is one of the four horsemen, and there are all these different elements, and it's not just Ichabod Crane is trying to figure out how to stop the Headless Horseman because it's a lot more complex than that. They're linked together. The horseman was raised from the dead, and Ichabod was raised back with them because their blood is linked. So they are, of course, linked now. I guess you could say their souls are linked. And there are elements. Ichabod's wife, you find out, is a witch in this episode. You find out that the priest who gets killed off was a part of her coven. John Cho, I thought he was going to be in the series because obviously he's a pretty famous guy, and they showed him in the trailer, but unfortunately he was killed off in this episode. He might end up coming back, who knows, with the show being what it is, everything's so mystical, anyone could really come back to life. But he was killed off, and that was a nice twist for the episode, and just in general because for anyone who knows John Cho, if you've seen Harold and Kumar, the movies, and he's in, of course, a ton of other stuff, but that's kind of how they both got famous. But when he's generally in something, you think he might be a main character, but it was just sort of a special guest appearance. And the nice little twist they had with that, it kind of makes me wonder, how many other people in Sleepy Hollow are related to this demon, which I'm gonna assume is the actual devil, but he can't really do anything to other people. He can only affect people who have kind of like submitted themselves to him, because otherwise, if it was the devil, he'd just obviously kill everyone. So he kind of has these limits, and it's really interesting to see how he interacts with other people, later on in the series. But I really love how they do it, and people are just linked through random events that have happened. They're just random special characters, like in any other show. It's just that random person who would be the main character in the show. Her and her sister are linked to this demon because they just experienced, the four white trees like some other people did in the past, and so now they're just linked to the supernatural realm. And I really appreciate that. And we get, of course, to see your sister in the preview that they show at the end. And I kind of thought they wouldn't show that. I thought it would be like later in the season, like towards the end, or maybe even the second season if we get one, which I'm really hoping we do because obviously I love the first episode. But they showed a lot of the different stuff. There are more like demonic creatures coming in, and they're like special, basically special demons or special, magic based people that are going to come into the series that will pave the way for the four horsemen, and they have to figure out how to stop them before each horseman is revived completely. So I'm really curious to see, beyond the witch, what are they gonna, who are they gonna bring in, or what type of demons, and like I said, who's gonna be connected, who won't be connected, who's just gonna get tossed in the middle of this. And I would assume it would be the whole town, because now, after the first episode, it's kind of hard to avoid the fact that there's a headless horseman running around, killing people, when you have so many people saying, I saw this and we shot him and this and that. So the town of Sleepy Hollow does know, or at least they will know, maybe, because headless horseman running around, it's kind of hard to hide that from everybody. So of course I think the town will kind of go backwards in time a little bit, where people will get more and more into sort of the witch type things, and it'll be cool to see that. And we kind of got to see it in the preview. Of course that could have just been a random group, but I feel like the entire town itself will sort of revert once, once you see something supernatural like that. People sort of pick and choose what they, do or don't believe in, and it'll be cool to see, sort of the different factions of people who are like, I still don't believe it, and then the people who are like just diving right into it because they're scared and they want to either protect themselves or, who knows, maybe just hurt other people. It'd be cool to see how they do that. But overall, I really loved the episode. I everyone who acted in the show I thought was, did really well. The two main characters, I don't really haven't really seen them in other things, but I think they did really well for this. Orlando Jones, he was good, is generally good. John Cho was good. The guy who was the sheriff, I didn't catch it at first, but when the recording is played of him, and I could be wrong, but I'm almost 100% sure he's a voice actor. I just can't think of what game I've heard his voice in. So it's kind of driving me nuts now, and I'm going to look it up. And I'll probably, put it below or put up annotations, but I'm almost 100% sure he's a voice actor in a couple of games I've heard before. I just can't, like, place it. But he did well for like the little bit that he was in before his head got chopped off. And the horseman himself, of course, with it being Sleepy Hollow, you can't, not talk about the horseman. Um, Really great, as usual, he comes out, chopping heads off. And then, towards the end of the episode, he gets guns from basically from John Cho. And it was kind of funny, he had like an assault rifle and a shotgun, and he still had like an axe. It wasn't the giant axe; it was like a little axe that he threw at Ichabod. But it was really interesting to see that he's just like trying to shoot people up and stuff. And when him and Ichabod fought, I thought it was kind of cool how strong he was. And Ichabod was trying to, like, when he tried to hit him with the shovel, he kind of just blocked it and knocked it down and just like punched him so hard. It was like, man, he's just a tough character. Like, he doesn't have to chop your head off. He can just like really hurt you because he's just like a big tough character. And it's really cool to see that. And how they portrayed him in the very beginning when the horseman and Ichabod actually fought. He had like the creepy mask on and stuff. It was really cool to see that because generally it is just a normal guy, or at least like I said in the movie, it was Christopher Walken. I don't know how normal that is, but it's just a normal guy and he gets his head chopped off, and that's pretty much it. But in this, he was like a pretty special. Like, you don't see that during those times. A guy comes out in war with like a giant axe and a face mask on. So it was kind of cool how they portrayed him as like this, almost demonic in that sense when you think about it, because at the time everything's so plain and common, and then he comes out with like this jet black face mask on, and it was kind of cool just to see that little fight that they had. And there's not much else I can really say. Like I said, I love the episode. The actors did really well. The writing was really well done, and I'm definitely excited for next week's episode and the rest of the series, which, like I said, I really hope this does get enough views to get a second season. So obviously, if you like the show, tell everybody to watch it, because even if they don't like Sleepy Hollow, you don't really have to, because it's just a really well done show. So if they like sort of supernatural based shows, this is the show for them. So please let everybody know, and obviously comment below, let me know what you thought of the show. How do you think the season's gonna be? Based off of the little preview that we got, where things are gonna go. How do you think that's really gonna play out? And are you looking forward to future seasons of Sleepy Hollow? Comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.